with the name of the Imam Zaman, Nur Maulana Shah Rahimul Husaini Hazir Imam, Ya Mulai Mehrban, Ya Mulai Mehrban, Madad Farma, Madad Farma, Ya Mulai Mehrban, Madad Farma. Alayul Qayyum, Ali Allah, Madad Farma, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Nur Maulana Shah Rahimul Husaini Hazir Imam, Tawfiq, Tahid, Himmat wa Yari Maula, Tawfiq, Tahid, Himmat wa Yari Maula, Ya Maulay Mehrban, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर या अली मदद, and thank you for joining us today. Today's session, as mentioned yesterday, is a continuous session, and today we will try to learn, as yesterday, the need of the knowledge, ilm, and understanding. The question, when we read any book of our tariqah, for example, Ginan, for example, Farman book, for example, Qur'an, we should ask ourselves a question. Let's take Ginan for our example. Is Ginan there for us to sing, or is it Ginan for the knowledge and the guidance for the Mu'mineen? Have you ever wondered about that? Because we do sing Ginan every day. Was the purpose of the Ginan? To sing and shake our head in the rhythm. And at the end of the Ginan, we say, Wah, wah, wah. Kya khoob Ginan pada. Kitni achhi आवाज hai. Kya raag banaya hai. Or the Ginan was the purpose of knowledge and guidance. Do you ever wonder? Let's take Farman as an example. I know many, and you may know many, who read the Farman and remember those Farman by heart. Are the Farman to guide us? Is the Farman for our knowledge and understanding? Or Farman are just there so we can remember them by heart and never learn anything from it? One of my teacher would give us an example. she was Alwaiza. She said one day she was running late to the Jamaat Khana, and she noticed this student of her in the REC sitting on the stairwells. She stopped and asked, "Beta, why are you sitting here on the stairwells? Shouldn't you not be in Jamaat Khana offering your dua? Dua is going on upstairs." And he said, "No, I have a Farman Waro today." She said, "Yeah, what is the Farman?" And he says, in the Farman, Mullah says, attend the Jamaat Khana and attend the dua in the Jamaat Khana with the Jamaat. Do you understand what just happened? He was practicing a Farman which he was about to read in Jamaat Khana, did not understand that Farman was not guiding him. There was no knowledge for him in that Farman. He was just reading the Farman superficially. अब इस मिसाल को सुने कि एक टीचर जो मेरी खुद की भी साथ रह चुकी है, बल्कि अभी भी है, एक दिन वो जमात खाने में थोड़ी लेट दाखिल हुई, ऊपर दुआ पढ़ी जा रही थी। सीढ़ी पर उसने अपने एक शागिर्द को देखा और पूछा कि तुम यहाँ क्यों बैठी हो? वो कहने लगी कि मेरा आज फरमान का वारा है, मैं फरमान की प्रैक्टिस कर रही हूँ। उसने पूछा कि क्या फरमान है? कि फरमान ये है कि दुआ के वक्त जमात खाने में हाजिर रहकर जमात के साथ दुआ पढ़ो। और वो क्या कर रही थी? सीढ़ी पे बैठकर फरमान को याद कर रही थी, क्योंकि उस फरमान के अंदर उसके लिए कोई इल्म और कोई भी हिदायत नहीं थी। बस वो फरमान को पढ़ रही थी। क्या हम भी यही करते हैं? और मैं बहुत सारे ऐसे लोगों को जानता हूं, और आप भी जानते होंगे, जो फरमान को रट लेते हैं जबानी, लेकिन फरमान के मतलब को नहीं समझते हैं। अब आए कुरान पर। So let's talk about Quran. Is the Quran a book of history of the past, or is it book of knowledge and guidance for the Mu'mineen? हाफिज कुरान नहीं, मैं आशिक कुरान हूं। क्या कहा? हाफिज कुरान नहीं मैं। वो लोग जो कुरान को पूरा पूरा पढ़ के रट लेते हैं और वो समझते हैं हमने कुरान पढ़ा, हाफिज कुरान हो गया। अगर कुरान का इल्म कुछ भी नहीं होता है उनके अंदर। कभी टेस्ट करें आप। नाचीज ने बहुत मर्तबा हाफिज कुरान को टेस्ट किया है, अभी तक एक भी ऐसा नहीं मिला कि जो कुरान को समझता हो, बस कुरान को रट लिया है। तो क्या कुरान को हिस्ट्री की किताब है, या कुरान is a book of knowledge and guidance for the Mu'mineen? Just like that, when we see the Imam's many farman, in which Imam asks about some words of the Quran, That is, an example, what is the meaning of kokab or kullu or sirat al-mustaqim? So when Imam gives this farman, do we ever refer to the Quran to see what is the meaning of kokab in the Quran? Or what is the meaning of kullu in kullu wallahu ahad in the Quran? Or what is the meaning of sirat al-mustaqim in Surah Al-Hamd? Have we ever gone back to the Quran? We do call and claim to be the followers, the murid, the mu'mineen of the Imam. So, ask ourselves, how many times have we read this farman and then went back and referred to the Quran to know the meaning of these words? So is it farman to listen from here and out from this ear? Or is it farman for us to follow? Is Imam asking the Jamaat for the translation of these words? कि कौकब का मतलब है सितारों का जगमग चमकदा और कुल्लू का मतलब है कहो और सिरात अल-मुस्तकीम का मतलब है सीधा रास्ता. Is Imam asking us for the translation of this word? And when we read this farman, how do we understand Imam asking about these words? How do we understand them? Have we ever asked those who understand the farman that, oh, my brother, or my sister, or my teacher, what does Imam means by this word? What is he trying to tell us? What is he teaching us? Is Imam drawing our attention toward the ayat in which these words are included? For example, again, where do we find word kokab in Quran? Is it in ayah Mizbah? Where do we find word kullu? Is it in Surah Ikhlas? Where do we find the word Sirat al-Mustaqim? Is it in Surah Al-Hamd? Have we ever paid attention to Imam's farman? Because he is drawing our attention toward the ayat, toward the Quran, and the ta'wil of these words. So let's ask ourselves again, how many times have we gone back to find these words in the Holy Book? If you remember yesterday's lesson, I mentioned today will be continuation of this lesson. That ilm and reflecting on this faramin will help us understand what Imam wants from the Jamaat, from the Murid and Mu'mineen. MashaAllah and Inshallah, all of you are great Farman Bardar Mu'mineen of the Imam of the time. Today, we will take such an ayat from the Surah Nur, ayah Mizbah, to see when Imam says, What is written is for all, but Tawil is for the Jamaat. Let's try to understand this Farman with this ayat from the Holy Quran. And the Farman Mubarak is this. Hazrat Imam Shah Karim al-Husaini, Imam of the time, in Mumbai, India, Karimabad Jamaat Khana, on Wednesday, November 22nd, 1967, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, said, "My beloved spiritual children, I have told you on many an occasion how important it is that if you learn part of the Quran, you should understand their meaning. It is important that if you recite or know parts of the Quran, you should be able to explain their meaning. Do not forget that our branch of Islam is an esoteric branch of Islam." मौला ने 1967 में फरमाया और बहुत मर्तबा फरमाया कि अगर आप कुरान को पढ़ते हैं तो आपको उसके मानी जानने चाहिए, और ये बहुत ही जरूरी है कि जब आप कुरान को पढ़ें तो उसके मानी को बयान कर सके। और याद रखना कि हमारा तरीका इस्लाम का बातिनी तरीका है। Esoteric means that what is written is there, but its meaning is not there to everyone. It is there to those who are part of our Jamaat, and it is important, therefore, that if you learn part of the Quran, you should be able to explain the esoteric meaning of those parts. क्या मतलब है बातिनी? इसका मतलब यह है कि जो लिखा हुआ है वो तो सबके लिए है, लेकिन इसका बातिन सिर्फ हमारे लिए है जो हमारी जमात का हिस्सा है। और ये बहुत ही जरूरी है कि अगर आप कुरान को पढ़ते हैं और उसके कुछ हिस्सों को सीखते हैं तो फिर आप उसको अच्छी तरह से दूसरों के लिए बयान कर सके उसके बातिनी मानों के साथ। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व अला मुहम्मद। This is the Surah Nur, Ayah Mizwah, Surah 24, Ayah 35, which Imam is referring to his Farman that, do you know the meaning of kokab? And that word kokab is here in this ayat. Right here I'm pointing, as you can see, my hand. Kokabe Duri, the shining star. So after listening to that Farman, did we ever try to dive into the Quran to see what is the meaning of Kokab as per Imam's Farman? Today we will just talk about that, and inshallah in our next session we have recorded, and if you all wish we can share that 1 hour recording on this ayat completely. But for today's lesson is to understand that Imam gives us Farman, and Farman is for us to learn, and learn, to reflect on it, to do our due diligence, to go into the Quran and find those words and then find the meaning of those words. And if you do not know, ask. Ask again until you find the meaning of it. And I'm not talking about translation, but the meaning of it. Let me show you again the Farman, just in case if you are not paying the attention to the Farman. And I am pointing toward this part. You should understand their meaning, not translation. Imam is not talking about translation. The same mistake we have made regarding our dua. When Imam says, know the meaning of your dua, we were looking at the translation. Those of you who have the English language either as a first language or second language, you understand the difference between translation and the meaning. Imam is telling you by the command, by the Farman, to know the meaning of the words, of the ayat, of the surahs, of the Quran. Same, he is telling you to know the meaning of the dua, not translation. Not once, by 100 times, I have run into those Jamati members who would proudly say, I know the meaning of the dua. And I would say, really? Where did you find the meaning of the dua? It says in this small dua book, they have given us the meaning of the dua. I say, but that is only the translation. That is the translation of the dua. And even in the translation, there are mistakes. Did you do your own part, due diligence? Try to understand and follow the Farman of the Imam. No, I have read what was given to me in that book. And that is translation only. And we did not even do our own personal search, for which Imam had told us many times. Personal search, personal search. Where is that personal search? Learn, learn, learn. Where is that learning? Ilm, ilm, ilm. Where is that batini ilm that Imam, by the command of the Farman, is asking you to take? Inshallah, inshallah, if we are listening and paying attention today, it's not too late. We can still follow the Farman of the Imam by knowing the meaning of the dua, meaning of the words and the verses of the Quran. So let's come back to this one word, Kokabe Duri. Allah says, the example of my Nur is like a lamp. And this lamp is in the crystal. And the crystal is like Kokabe Duri, shining star. And that is the word Imam is asking. What is this crystal like Kokabeturi? What is this glass or the container like a pure glass, a see-through glass, like a shining star? What is Imam trying to draw our attention toward? Who and what is this Kokabeturi? Our Hududdin, our Dais and Peace, have given us the tawil of many words in the Quran. For example, sun, Suraj, example of the Imam. Moon, Chand, example of Pir. Stars, Tare, the example of Dais. Mountain, example of intellect. Water, example of ilm. Tree, example of Imam. The blessed oil of the tree. Do you see that? How would we know the meaning of this such words if we do not pay attention to the Farman and then go and do some personal search and ask question when we do not know? Like I said, there's the entire 1 hour detailed lecture recorded for your benefit. But it is up to you to listen and to learn. But today, we are focused on this one line, one word only. That this crystal lamp or the device where we keep that lamp in, if the lamp is the example of the Nur, and that Nur is kept in this crystal jar, which is clear and shining like star. So tawil upon tawil upon tawil, meaning we will learn the multiple tawilat, because tawilat are multiple at different levels. So let's start from the top. That Allah's Nur and his example is like a lamp. And he have kept that lamp, that Nur, in such a person whose example is like a shining crystal, shining star. So who will be the Da'i Awwal in this case? Where would we find this Nur and this lamp? And where is the crystal glass who is shining like a star? So number one, example of the Kokabeduri at the highest level is Imam Zaman, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He is that clear crystal, and he is like that shining star. After him, second Tawil. Remember Tawil upon Tawil. And Tawil within the Tawil. Peas are like that crystal glass and the shining star. As the Imam's Nur is shining through them, and they are such a clear crystal glass that we can see them like shining star. After the peer, these are those shining, clear, pure, clear glass crystal who are shining like a star. These are the one who gives you that ilm that will help you shine like star. And then the last tawil, and not the end of the tawilat, but the last one for today, are those mu'mineen on the high who through the farman of the imam, ginan of the peer, ilm of the da'i, are also shining like a star. So Imam is asking you, have you paid attention to the word kokab in the Quran? Because Imam wants to teach you, he wants to draw your attention that you could be that one through the farman, through the gnan, and through the ilm can shine like a star. You are the kokab-e-duri mentioned in the Quran. So say and understand, or ask and understand. Kullu, पूछो, inquire. थोड़ा यहां पर उर्दू में समझाता चलो कि हम आज इस पूरी आयत का मीनिंग नहीं करने वाले हैं, उसके लिए पहले से ही रिकॉर्ड किया हुआ पूरी आयत का डिटेल के अंदर मानी समझाया गया है। आज हमारा मुद्दा जो है, फोकल पॉइंट है, उसको हमने फोकस किया है इमाम के फरमान से, वो है वर्ड कोकब और उसके मीनिंग। कि जब इमाम पूछते हैं कि क्या आप इसके मानी को जानते हैं, तो हम उसके ट्रांसलेशन की तरफ, तर्जुमे की तरफ दौड़ पड़ते हैं। इमाम आपसे ट्रांसलेशन नहीं मांग रहा है, तर्जुमा नहीं मांग रहा है, इमाम चाहता है कि आप उसके मानी को समझो। तो मानी जो है, तावील जो है, वो अलग अलग मरातीब पर होती है। आज हम इसके 4 मर्तबे को देखने की कोशिश करेंगे। तावील के ऊपर तावील और तावील के अंदर तावील। सबसे पहले कोकब दूरी की तावील आला मर्तबे यानी कि इमाम की तरफ जाती है। तो जब कहता है खुदा कि मेरे नूर की मिसाल एक दिया है और वो दिया एक शीशे की कंदील में है, और वो शीशा इतना पाक और पाकीज़ा है कि तारों की तरह चमकता है। सबसे पहले इसकी तावील इमाम की तरफ जाती है कि नूर खुदाबंदी का दिया इमाम के अंदर जला हुआ है और वो क्रिस्टल ग्लास है कि जो पाक और पाकीज़ा है और चमकते हुए तारों की तरह आपके सामने हाजिर और मौजूद है, कि जो अंधेरों के अंदर, जहालत के अंदर आपको रोशनी की तरफ बुलाता है। सबसे पहले ये इमाम के लिए, इसके बाद ये पीर के लिए है कि इमाम का नूर पीर के अंदर उजागर है और वो क्रिस्टल ग्लास है जो पाक और पाकीज़ा है, कि जो आपको गिनान के जरिए से इल्म की तरफ बुलाता है और अंधेरे में रोशनी दिखाता है। फिर तीसरे लेवल पर इसकी तावील आती है दाइस की तरफ, कि दाई का इल्म वो शाइनिंग स्टार्स है, चमकते हुए तारे हैं, कोकबे दूरी है, फैले हुए सितारे हैं जो अंधेरों से तुमको निकालकर रोशनी की तरफ लाते हैं। वो अपने इल्म से ये काम करते हैं। और इसके बाद ये तावील उन मोमिनों की तरफ जाती है जो आला किस्म के मोमिन है, कि वो इमाम के फरमान, पीर के गिनान, दाई के इल्म से अपने आप को रोशन और पाक और पाकीज़ा कर डालते हैं। अब वो भी एक चमकते हुए तारे की तरह और एक साफ और शफाफ शीशे की तरह आपके सामने है, ताकि वो आपको जहालत और ला इल्मी के अंधेरों से निकालकर इमाम की नूर की रोशनी की तरफ, गिनान के समझ की तरफ और दाई के इल्म की तरफ ले आए। ये था मतलब और ये था फरमान, कि क्या आप उसके मानी जानते हैं? आपने देखा इल्म एक वो हकीकी जरिया है, सिरातुल मुस्तकीम है, कि जिसके ऊपर चलकर आप इमाम के फरमान को भी, पीरों के गिनान को भी, दाइयों के इल्म को भी समझ सकते हैं। और ये इल्म की इंपॉर्टेंस, इल्म की तरफ तवज्जो और कितनी ही जरूरी है कि हम इन चीजों को समझें। तो आज का लेसन हम शॉर्ट रखेंगे, क्योंकि हम समझते हैं कि कुछ लोगों को आज मजलिस में जाना है। और याद रखना कि ये वो आयत है जिसके अंदर इमाम शनासी का सबसे बेहतरीन और सबसे जामे इशारा है। And remember, we will keep this lesson short, as we understand some of you may have to travel toward Jamaat Khana for the majlis today. But this is the ayat where you will find the core principle of Ismaili Tariqa and the Imamat. And that is Nurun ala Nur in this ayat, which is the core Asul Deen principle of the Imamat and our Tariqa. And we will talk about Nurun ala Nur again. We will talk about this ayat again as we are in the course of Imam Shanasi. But Imam Shanazi cannot be done until you understand the importance of the ilm itself. So pay attention to this ayat. Try to think the meaning of the Nurun ala Nur, and inshallah we will share the total recording of this ayat with complete understanding. It is up to you to give 1 hour of your time to follow the Imam's Farman, or it is your free will not to follow. I will leave that up to you. I have written some of the meaning. If you do go into this ayat where the oil is mentioned, oil meaning ibadat, pure oil meaning pure ibadat, oil of the tree meaning the ibadat of the Imam, roots of the tree are the mu'mineen, the trunk of the tree is the religion, the branches are the example of the different sects and different religions, the leaf of the tree are the example of Shariat, the fruit of the tree is the example of the essence, the kernel, the seeds are the example in the oil, and the tree as a whole is the example of the Imam. As a cross reference, you can look at the Kalimah Tayyibah, that is the pure tree in Surah 14, ayah 24, a reference of the Imam. A godly word as a godly tree. Its roots set firm, its branch reaches into the heaven, giving its fruit at every season by the permission, command of its Lord. Two references of the Qur'an of those who believe, the mu'mineen, and those who do not believe. So it is up to us to do our due diligence and look at this ayat as recommended here. The ayat of the believer is 64:11, and ayat for the disbelievers is Surah 2, ayat 6 and 7. So let me stop here. Inshallah, we will continue next week on Saturday and Sunday. Thank you.